Jeremiah chapter 5. We want to begin to look at what Jeremiah called apostasy. We see this as apostasy Jeremiah begin to shout or talk about right from chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5 up to this point. And when you move on up to chapter 10, even chapter 12, Jeremiah is still shouting and talking about apostasy. Apostasy is leaving Yahweh for another. Apostasy is finding what is called today religion, where Yahweh says you should not look for religion. Religion gives or provides an individual worship of God or gods. In Hebrew, they call them El or Elohim. In English, the Lord, where you have Baal as the Lord. And when we look at the Bible we have in our hand, that is why right from the time of fathers, Yahweh has been crying about worship of the Lord, Baal. You know, all these different mighty ones. In Hebrew, called mighty ones, gods. Even angels, they elevated to mighty ones or called mighty ones. Even justices, judges, kings, they're called mighty ones. But you always say that is not his name. They keep on doing the same thing, repeating the same thing. And they took after, they put the image of what appear to be their God, whatever name they are calling it, whether it's Elohim, whether it's Baalim or Baal or God or the Lord, they put those into wood and stone. That is carving them, use wood, use stone and carve them out. And this is what Yahweh rang out in their ears in his basic laws. Exodus chapter 21 to 17 warned, particularly verses 2-3, warned about making idols, images, and bowing to them. So those images and idols, they gave those names, different titles. They are really, really titles. Because nobody can even give Yahweh a name. It's names they found and gave to those wood and stone which they bow to. Yahweh has only one name, and it's only Yahweh that gave it to mankind. All others are titles, and the enemy of our soul deduce them and pass them on unto us. Though in our various languages, dialects, we have titles we associate to whom we worship. But when it comes to name for salvation, because he said to Israel, I gave you this name for salvation, his name, Yahweh. And he said his name is in his son, Yahshua Messiah. Yahshua has his name with him, going with him. So Yahshua warned us where we, heard similar thing in Old Testament or Old Covenant. He continued in the New Covenant or the New Testament, screaming and saying the same thing. So Yahweh tried to see if there is anyone in the land of Israel that has not faltered, if there is anyone that has not faulted, has not sinned, that have not departed from his basic laws, that have not broken his covenant, his laws, his Torah, then Yahweh says he will spare them, he will spare the land. He said, Jeremiah, go through the nook and crannies of the land. If there is anybody you can find that is just, that is honest, I will spare the land. And unfortunately, there was none. Apart from Jeremiah and his secretary, Baruch. Apart from them, and we say, go. Just like in Genesis, I think Genesis chapter 18, 26 to 32, where Abraham called Yeshua. Because even in Old Testament, Yeshua has been at work. We are told 3 angels that we are passing by, and Abraham called them. Come, come, come. Come and have rest. Come and wash your feet and find water and drink. And just come and have rest before you continue your journey. And in the process, he entertained his creator. Gave them food, gave them water. They enjoyed themselves. And Abraham was, the promise of giving him a seed, a son, was reaffirmed by that wonderful, wonderful show of love to the 3 angels. One was the language you could call in those days, or the name that you could use to refer to the creator is Yahweh. But we are described as angels. But the chief of the angel was, who one will call Yahweh, was Yeshua. And he told him he's going somewhere. He was going to Sodom and Gomorrah. Abraham knew immediately. Because all those things in his own time were written. He understood that that nation, that place was highly, highly corrupt. And one day, Sunday, the end will come on them. Abraham was asking him, when you get there, because he told him clearly, the cry of that land, because people were killed, people were maimed, all the covenant or commandments, all the commandments or the basic laws of Yahweh were all broken. None were there rules, were there laws during his time. Yes, there was rules, and Abraham obeyed, because book of Genesis told us that Abraham kept Yahweh's commandments, kept Yahweh's law, kept Yahweh's status. So if the scripture says there was law, there was commandment, which Abraham kept, that means even Lot knew about, and Lot followed. But how far Lot followed is something that we cannot discuss here. But then Lot maintained some sort of tranquility, some sort of, living somewhat honest life. But how trustworthy he was and how far his honesty was is what I couldn't, or I can't say here. But the truth remains that when Abraham said to Yahweh, who was going in, asked, the chief angel or Yeshua himself. Now he said, if you get in there, if you see 50, would you spare them? Would you spare the people? Would you spare the land? He said yes. If you see 20, if you see 15 and all that, because he began to go down from 50, 40, 30, 20, 15, 10 and all that. But then to all that number, there were nothing. Nobody that was trustworthy or honest or sincere or were following the basic laws of Yahweh that Abraham was keeping, that Lot was supposed to be. In that land of Sodom and Gomorrah, none was found. None. That place had to be cleared. The same thing Yahweh is repeating. That is why it is apostasy. They left Yahweh and followed another, and followed Baal, and followed the God of this world. This God, the God of this world, has a way of creating different idols, different gods, different deities. That was what happened. They left Yahweh. Now let's listen to Jeremiah chapter 5. Jeremiah chapter 5. Run up and down every street in Jerusalem, says Yahweh. Look high and low, search throughout the city. If you can find even one just and honest person, I will not destroy the city. But even when they are under oath, saying, as surely as Yahweh lives, they are still telling lies. Yahweh said, you can't find one. Even when they are under oath, even when they are under his covenant, yet they tell lies. If you don't see one as a liar, you see another as a thief. You don't see one as a thief, you see another as a prostitute. You don't see one as prostitute, you see another as, a cheat, a covetous person, a liar, a dishonest person, an idol worshiper, one who carries and worship, wood and stone, Baal. That was what was, reigning in the land at the time. Verse 2. But even when they are under oath, saying, as surely as Yahweh lives, they are still telling lies. Yahweh, you are searching for honesty and struck your people, but they paid no attention. You crossed them, but they refused to be corrected. They are determined with faces set like stone. They have refused to repent. Jeremiah had gone through. Jeremiah has seen it. Jeremiah has preached a while, but they completely said no to Yahweh. They had fallen in love to wood and stone, to Baal, to the Lord, which is still on today, which is still what the world is worshiping. All the whole English Bible, all you see there is the Lord, the Lord, the Lord. Have they stopped? This is what Yahweh is saying. They are still worshiping the Lord. It's not the Lord. His name is Yahweh. The Lord is titled that Satan created for himself through Baal, through sun god worship. Then I said, but what can we expect from the poor? They are ignorant. Even in the land, you have the rich, you have the poor. What can we say about them? Because of poverty, they put their hand where they are not supposed to put their hand. So they are equally sinners in the land. Look at what is happening in Africa, in so many countries of the world, call them third world, because of poverty. People worship silver and gold. People worship money. People worship the wealthy people, rich people. That is the problem. It's sickness. And Yahweh said, this ought not to be. Though you may be poor, you can't, because of your poverty, you will not serve Yahweh. It is not written that poor person cannot serve Yahweh. What of the rich? Because you even mentioned the rich. Continue, said, They don't know the ways of Yahweh. They don't understand Yahweh's laws. So I will go and speak to their leaders, the rich. Surely they know the ways of Yahweh and understand Yahweh's laws. But the leaders, too, as one man, had thrown off Yahweh's yoke and broken his chains. They equally threw away Yahweh's law, which they're supposed to be teachers, which they're supposed to be interpreting to people, which they're supposed to be teaching the people. They know what Yahweh instructed. They are the teachers. You have the prophets, you have the pastors, you have the scribes, you have all manner of different levels of leaders. They abandon the word of Yahweh. They abandon the truth of Yahweh. And they pursued wealth. They pursued and served, even with the wealth Yahweh gave to them, they ascribe it to Baal, to the Lord. So now a lion from the forest will attack them. Are you hearing that? Lion will attack them from forests. Who are the lions? Or the lion that is going to attack them? Babylonians. Nebuchadnezzar will come after them. He will send his soldiers. Some of his soldiers will be found in forest, depending on how they were trained. So those sets are called lions. A wolf from desert will pounce on them. Some of those Babylonians will come from desert. They are wolves. He called them wolves. A leopard will lurk near their towns, tearing apart any who dare to venture out from towns. So you see their land going to be invaded by Babylon or Babylonians. They will invade them. They will first lay siege. The land will be under siege as long as they will remain lying in ambush against the people. That anybody that come out, in Nigeria today, you talk about kidnapping. Nigeria today, you talk about, these people ambushing people in the bush, killing them, shedding blood. That is exactly what he's saying here. People will be traveling on the road. They will be kidnapped. They'll be gunned down. They will gun them down. They wouldn't know where these people will come out. From road, from waters, from, For their rebellion is great and their sins are many. This is the reason Babylonians are coming. This is the reason the people will be dying. The people will be destroyed. And they will be made to be lame people. They will not have power again. Even if they had power, Yahweh will withdraw their power. Yahweh will withdraw their might. They will not have power to face their enemies. That is what happened to a wicked person. A wicked person is somebody who breaks Yahweh's law. A wicked person who is somebody who intentionally walk away from Yahweh. How can I pardon you? Yahweh is asking, how can I pardon you? For even your children have turned from me. They have sworn by gods, by idols, by elves, by whatever they worship, all the Baals that are not Yahweh at all. I fed my people until they were full. But they thanked me by committing adultery and lining up at the brothels. They are well fed, lusty stallions, each nine for his neighbor's wife. Their crime was too much. Some of them go after their neighbor's wives, neighbor's husbands. So adultery was reigning in the land. These are breaking of Yahweh's laws. And Yahweh say you can't stomach it any longer. One day, in this our time, this our age, Yahweh will descend upon nations. Yahweh will descend upon people. People think, hey, as everything is smooth sailing, everything is wonderfully crazy, beautiful in their eyes. Yahweh said, one day it will happen. It will rain. It will not stop until you wipe away his enemies. These people who break his laws, those that break Yahweh's covenant are enemies of Yahweh. And he said he's coming. Even in this age, he's coming. The way he chased Israel away, the way he killed and killed and killed them, the same way he's going to come in these latter days, and his enemies are going to have it. They are going to get it to where, they never expected. Should I not punish them for these their sins, says Yahweh? Should I not avenge myself against such a nation? Go down the rows of the vineyards and destroy the grapevines, leaving a scattered few alive. Strip the branches from the vines, for these people do not belong to Yahweh. Yahweh had wanted to wipe all Israelites, particularly this tribe of Judah that he's concentrating on speaking to. Want to wipe them out. But by his mercy, Israel is called vineyard of Yahweh, grapevine. Verse 11 continues. The people of Israel and Judah are full of treachery against me, says Yahweh. Not only Judah, Israel, the 10th tribe. By the time Jeremiah was writing and speaking here, the 10th tribe had left the lands, hundreds of years. So here, Yahweh was speaking directly to Judah. Then here he connected Israel, because Israel did their worst, and that was the reason he scattered them. And wherever they were then, he was still speaking to them, and he's still speaking to Israel, wherever they are, both Israel and Judah. Anybody that hold the covenant book, which is called the Bible today, Yahweh is speaking to him or her. That he is coming. It's not done with Israel, because at that time he wanted to wipe them away, but he said, no, leave some stump in the ground. Leave some root in the ground. Let them be hidden in the ground. But cut off the stem, the branches, the vine, cut them down, destroy them, but leave some remnants down, leave them in the ground. And he said he will cause them to grow. In these latter days, that is the time. And we are being awakened to discover the covenant book again, to discover the word of Yahweh again, and to follow it as he wants us to follow it. And he will allow us to do the right thing, to follow his instruction as written. And if we are not getting it, time will come when he will call Babylonians again, the Assyrians, the Egyptians. Daniel chapter 2 capture all of them. All those nations, Babylonians, Medes and Persia, Greeks, Roman Empire, wherever they are, even the little one in this later age, all of them will rise against Israel, wherever they are. And they will almost devour all of them. The same thing that happened by the time he, scattered them. That is what is going to happen. But Yahweh will say, spare remnants amongst them. And Yahweh knows them. Those who are dedicated, those who are paying attention, those who are listening to him, those who are striving day and night. Not because they are righteous, but because of the love of Yahweh. Yahweh take them by his hand and continue to show them his word. Because they were paying attention, they were listening, because they were putting their eyes onto the covenant book of Yahweh, and they were following And Yahweh will fine-tune their righteousness and help them in their honesty, help them in their sincerity, help them in their trustworthiness. And he will save them and restore them back to that land. Because they are going back to that land as he took them from Egypt and they went back to the land. The same way, because he scattered them, they were not able to keep or maintain that land. He scattered them. Then in these latter days, after he judged both Israel, the whole house of Israel, and the entire world, he will take the remnant of Israelites back into the land to safeguard them, to keep them, to teach them, to educate them, and to empower them. The Bible said after that period, they will not sin against Yahweh again. In fact, they will loot themselves of everything, whatever that is called breaking of the law, breaking of the covenant. They will warn themselves and never go contrary to it again. Then Yeshua now, Messiah Yeshua, our Savior, will use them to go into the world to do what? To evangelize the entire world so that mankind will not be cut off from the earth. But many, the Gentile nations will reject, will resist, as everybody is resisting now. Then he will let fire down. He will use fire to wipe out the earth. This dying earth, this decayed earth. Then he will cause the new heaven and new earth to take over. So the saints will dwell there. And the earth will continue. The earth will continue. The righteous will live in the earth he created, he made. The people of Israel and Judah are full of treachery against me, says Yahweh. Did you hear that? That is the work of those who are supposed to be following Yahweh. They are treacherous. They hate Yahweh. They plot against Yahweh. They backbite Yahweh. They backstab Yahweh. By the time you are attacking the messenger of Yahweh, the pastor of Yahweh, the shepherd of Yahweh, the teacher of Yahweh, that is whom Yahweh appointed to teach his people. By the time you are attacking him, you are attacking Yahweh. That is what they did to Jeremiah. That's what they did to Ezekiel. That's what they did to Isaiah. That's what they did to all the prophets. Yahweh says, I send them my prophets. My prophets they killed. My prophets they harmed. My prophets they did whatever they liked. It was Yahweh himself they were doing it to. Because what they were saying is, Yahweh, you are not competent to speak to us or to guide us or to direct or to ask us to do your will. We can't do your will. We can't. Let's read on. You hear what they will be saying. 11. The people of Israel and Judah are full of treachery against me, says Yahweh. They have lied about Yahweh and said, he won't bother us. No disasters will come upon us. There will be no war or famine. Here they were calling Yahweh a liar. Jeremiah, you are saying this. None of those will happen. Because Jeremiah was not only a trustworthy, an honest, a righteous prophet of Yahweh. Yahweh appointed him to speak his word. So he didn't delegate himself. He didn't call himself. It was Yahweh that sent him. In a way, it was Yahweh that was speaking to them, but they rejected the word of Yahweh that was coming through Jeremiah. And they said, Yahweh, hey, you're a liar. None of these things will come. None of these things will happen. No disaster will come upon us. So there will be no war, no famine. Babylonians are not coming anywhere. Why? Judah in particular had eyes in the temple. They believed that in as much as the temple was standing, no power will ever come into Jerusalem. No power will ever come to pursue or conquer them. But then, book of Ezekiel said, Yahweh left. The glory of Yahweh departed from the temple. The glory of Yahweh left them. They didn't know. But Ezekiel saw the glory of Yahweh departed. That means they were on their own. That means even animals, lions, wolves, bears. But these are human bears, human lion, human wolves that will invade them, that will bounce upon them and eat them raw. Fortunately, they were not thinking when they were supposed to be thinking. Their teachers were not teaching. Their teachers, Yahweh had left. So there was no spirit of Yahweh to be guiding them or speaking to them or letting them or opening their eyes or their ears. Everything had gone. In fact, Yahweh will mention it here that they had eyes, they were not seeing at that time. They had ears. Because when Yahweh leaves, you can't hear again, you can't see again. Truth. When you see truth, you call it lies. When you see lies, you call it truth. That is what is happening in this age. Because all have left Yahweh, forsook Yahweh, and they are doing their own thing. Yahweh's prophets are all wingbags who don't really speak for him. You see how they were mouthing, how they were rubbishing Yahweh and his prophets. So those that pretend, we know that there are false prophets, but not one like Jeremiah, not one like Ezekiel. They hated them. Not one like Isaiah. They hated Isaiah. And all the minor prophets here and there. They hated them. The word of Yahweh, which is truth. John 17:17 says, thy word is truth. The word of Yahweh that is truth. Human beings hate the truth, the word of Yahweh. And it's bitter for them to swallow. They hate it. They don't want to hear it. Let their predictions of disaster fall on themselves. Therefore, this is what Yahweh, Yah of heaven's army says. Now, they were not only, they were just abusing, insulting Jeremiah, insulting Yahweh, and said, let your word go back to you. Let that which you are saying, say Jeremiah, Jerusalem will fall. Oh, there will be war. Babylonians are coming. There will be lions. There will be wolves. There will be, bears that will eat us up. You say, we wouldn't take it to. Let your word go back to you. Yahweh has spoken, and you are saying, let Yahweh's word go back to you. Then listen to what Yahweh will say. Verse 14. Therefore, this is what Yahweh, Yah of heaven, army says, because the people are talking like this, because people are insulting him, because people we are abusing him, because people we are not taking his word, they are mocking him. Now, say, my messages will flame out of your mouth and burn the people like kindling wood. He said to Jeremiah, the message you are passing to them, they are not taking in. They are not obeying. That word that is coming out will turn, instead of rescuing them, it will turn to fire. Do you know that in chapter 1, Yahweh said to Jeremiah, go to them. I have put my word in your mouth. With your mouth, you devour them. You will kindle fire on them. This is it here. Yahweh knew what he was saying. Even before Jeremiah stepped out prophesying, when he was being sent, Yahweh told him what he will do amongst them. O Israel, I will bring a distant nation against you, that is Babylon, says Yahweh. It is a mighty nation, that is Babylon, an ancient nation, a people whose language you do not know, whose speech you cannot understand. Their weapons are deadly, their warriors are mighty. They will devour the food of your harvest. They will devour your sons and daughters. They will devour your flocks and herds. They will devour your grapes and figs, and they will destroy your fortified towns, which you think are so safe. There was a place they said, we thought we had agreement with you that in the time of harvest, we are going to reap in plenty. We are going to harvest so much. Now, summer has come, harvest has come, yet we are not saved. Hunger is everywhere, famine is everywhere. Our lives are being destroyed. Did they keep the bargain? Did they keep the agreement? Did they keep the covenants? Rather, they begin to insult Yahweh. Then Yahweh told them, you are committing adultery, you are telling lies, you are committing fornication, you are cheating, you are coveting, you are carrying idol, you are making vow, you are what you worship, wood and stone. That is where you go. That is what you bow to. You have broken the covenant. They didn't want to pay attention. Rather, they were pursuing the prophet of Yahweh. And we are talking rubbish. So how will the land will be fertile? How will the rain fall? How will there not be famine? How will there not be drought? How will there not be hunger? How will there not be starvation? How will there not be mighty, powerful nations coming to overthrow them and invade them and take them away? Their weapons are deadly. Their warriors are mighty. They will devour the fruit of your harvest. They will devour your sons and your daughters. They will devour your flocks and herds. They will devour your grapes and figs, and they will destroy your fortified towns, which you think are so safe. That is, Jerusalem will go, Judea will go, and the temple will fall. All that you have hoped, where you put your faith, they will all disappear. Yahweh told them. They never heeded the warning. They never. Verse 18. Yet, even in those days, I will not blot you out completely. See the mercy of Yahweh. Listen, said some remnants will remain. Says Yahweh. And when your people ask, why did Yahweh our Yah do all this to us? You must reply, you rejected him and gave yourselves to foreign gods in your own land. In the land that Yahweh gave to them, they submitted themselves to Baal. They submitted themselves to El, which Satan introduced to them. Now you will serve foreigners in a land that is not your own. Here, Yahweh has decreed that they are going to be scattered. They are going to go into exile. They are going to go into foreign lands. A land that is not their own. There, they will serve, the occupants of the land, the owners of the land. They will be enslaved. They will serve foreigners. The people, the nations that they don't hear their tongue, they don't hear their language. Was it not what happened? Particularly, let us say this of recent, about 1619, 400 years ago. 2019 was 400 years. Transatlantic slave trade was everywhere. They were shipped everywhere, across America, across Europe, across, all over the world. So even before then, even before Israel, the Arabs traded on them, enslaved them. Even by the time they were carted away by Assyrians, they helped even Assyrians to check them out. That is the 10 tribes of Israel. What of Judah? It happened. The Roman Empire swept them away. Today they are scattered all over the world. Make this announcement to Israel and say this to Judah. Listen, you foolish and senseless people, with eyes that do not see and ears that do not hear. Have you not heard? They have ears, they don't hear. They don't have eyes, they don't see. Why? Because they've left Yahweh. They are calling another. As a result, all the whole sensory organs they have to have sense and to do the right thing are gone. So the enemy had blinded them and deafened their ears. Have you not respect for me? Yahweh was asking them. You say anything you like. You behave anyhow you like. You break my covenant I made with you. Don't you have respect? Can't you remember what you saw when Moses took you beside the mountain? How the mountain was literally shooting out flames, blaring with trumpets. The land was shaken. Smoke filled everywhere. Are you not afraid? Or would you say it is the ancient father that experienced that? That we don't know what transpired. As a result, we don't know you. We can't fear you. As it happened then, Yahweh will repeat it again, but this time with wrath, with anger, and many will be wiped out. In this latter age, Yahweh has promised Israel and Judah and nations of the world, because nations of the world had killed his people, so he will go after them as well. It's like Babylon, sending Babylon to go and deal with Judah, sending Assyria to go and deal with Israel. Those two nations, Yahweh chased them at the end of the day and allow other nations like Medes and Persia, Greeks, even Roman Empire to overthrow them. So all nations that have corrupted themselves, they will receive the punishment and the wrath of Yahweh. Have you no respect for me? Why don't you tremble in my presence? I, Yahweh, define the ocean's sandy shoreline as an everlasting